Hi, I'm Vidar Brecki. I'm with Open Audience Manager. We are a software as a service tool for marketers to help them optimize the open graph, which to most people means absolutely nothing. So, when I try to explain what we mean by optimizing the open graph, I try to put the open graph into some perspective. So, over the last 30 years, marketing technology has changed with the internet, from email to HTML to Google AdWords to the iPhone and now the open graph. All these things just changed the rules for what it meant to do internet marketing and how you connected with consumers online. Ironically, the open graph is probably the most impactful of all these technologies. Yet it's the least understood because it's really a protocol, which basically means it happens underneath. It's not what people necessarily see. And for marketers or visual, if you can't see it, you can't understand it. But what we try to do is make this understandable for marketers and consumers alike so that the full potential of it can be realized. Because what the open graph is about is really re-indexing the web. The way the web has been indexed before by search engines is by looking at pages and their relations to other pages. How many pages link to this page? That's basically the popularity algorithm that sites like Google and Yahoo and Bing have been using to rank pages. The open graph takes a very different approach. It tries to re-index the web around people. It does not index pages, but it indexes people's relations to pages. So it's much more interesting for marketers to understand what is the relationship between my content, my products, anything I put online, and people, and their relationship to other people. So the open graph is a way to index who you as a consumer are, not only who your friends are, which is what we call the social graph, but the open graph indexes what you are connected to, not just who you are connected to. So the social graph, which Facebook coined basically, is your friends and their friends, and Facebook knows who you're connected to and all their friends and those connections. The open graph is Facebook's way of understanding what you are connected to outside of Facebook. Every web page, every product, every piece of media that you have some affinity to becomes part of this open graph index.
And how does Facebook monitor and track that?
So in order to connect people to content, people basically need to volunteer their affinity into this index. And Facebook has unleashed on the web what is called the like button for websites. So it used to be that you could like a page on Facebook. Now you can like a page virtually anywhere where Facebook's like button appears. And Facebook makes it very easy for retailers and publishers of all kinds to take a snippet of code, put it on their page, and thereby connecting the visitors who like that page to the Facebook open graph. Of course, this is fantastic for Facebook to have all these demographic data and know exactly who you, publisher, or who you, retailer, have as friends. So the new currency on the internet is friends. Brands need friends, retailers need friends, content producers need friends, and the like button is what makes a consumer or a visitor a friend. So Facebook has all this data about who your friends are by virtue of this like button. The challenge, of course, is that how can you now as a publisher, retailer, also leverage all this data Facebook has about your users? So a lot of companies are concerned with Facebook having all their data. But Facebook is playing fair. There is a quid pro quo here. They will give you this data back if you ask nicely, and asking nicely basically means come up with some elaborate scheme to harvest the data back from Facebook. Facebook does not necessarily make it very easy, but they have provided a set of APIs that clever developers can find some way to stitch together an application that can help a retailer or a publisher understand the demographics of their friends. and even have the ability to communicate back with their friends through Facebook naturally. And therefore, using the friendship data as a new type of customer relationship management database. So Facebook now becomes the CRM center for a lot of companies because they have richer data on your customers, your visitors, than you will ever have. And there lies the opportunity for marketers to not look at Facebook as they're taking all my data, but how can I take data from Facebook that my consumers, my visitors would never give me? How can I take those data and use them in ways that increases the value of my offering to my consumers? So when they visit my site, I should acknowledge that I know things about them, such as the products they like, the content they like, even the friends they have, so that I can mold a branded experience using those social data.
So there it's almost the concept of retargeting. So somebody's out there, they like something that I've put out there, maybe not even on my own site, and eventually they make it back to, let's say, on Amazon, the homepage, and instead of just giving them a generic experience or an experience based only on their past visits to Amazon, it could be based on their visits elsewhere because I know more about them.
Absolutely, and I think what we're going to see is that Facebook is going to start becoming an ad network to recognize you wherever you go. And like 5 years ago, they would never get away with it. But I think, online privacy and users' acceptance of the lack of privacy is kind of like, putting the frog in the hot, in cold water and putting on the heat slowly. I think people are now getting used to the fact that everything is public. And Facebook is certainly driving that trend and is taking advantage of this and is always ahead of legislation in this respect. But I think what we're going to see as Facebook now has all this data is that they are going to get into the ad serving business, and they are going to sell you back the data you gave them as a publisher or retailer, so that they can sell advertising on third-party sites for your products. So why wouldn't they? That makes complete sense to them. And what's important now for the publisher retailer is to understand that they can take advantage of this as well. Clearly, Facebook will make a lot of money doing it, but so can a retailer or a publisher, because they can now be more relevant and they can reach their core constituency, their brand ambassadors who have raised their hands and said, I like you, I like your content. They can now probably reach them wherever they go, recognizing who they are and the likes they have, and retargeting them, bringing them back into their own property.
But is the implication there that I, as the CPG brand, can only do that through Facebook's ad network that they may build out?
Absolutely. Facebook is the proprietary and is going to be in a war against primarily Google, because Google is the display king, Google is the search king, and Facebook is now sitting on much more interesting search data than Google can, because they understand people's relations to content, not just content's relation to content. And they will be able to use peer pressure. They will be able to say, hey, John, your friend Peter likes this book. And even though you are not on a book site, you can be peer pressured into clicking on that ad because friends of yours care for this object, whatever it is, that the advertiser wants to push by virtue of Facebook's open graph.
And I could see this ad, for example, on the nytimes.com or CNN.com or some publication site that has relationships with ad networks.
Absolutely.
With Facebook theoretically being one of those ad networks in the future.
Yeah, and I think all ad networks now are very afraid of Facebook as getting into this market, because they can never compete with the kind of data that users have volunteered. because all the other networks, they use retargeting algorithms that are based on anonymous data. They're tracking you and you don't know it. Facebook is basically telling everybody, everything you do here is public. Don't share anything here if it's not public. And actually some research that we've done has shown that consumers who engage on Facebook and share content are completely aware that most of this will be public and used publicly. And some of our clients were concerned that their applications and their websites were enabling users to share too much, that there would be a backlash. But the consumers were not concerned at all. They said, why would I share something if I didn't think people would see it? So I think consumers are realizing that sharing is a social activity that has value. And sharing is bragging. People like to brag about they being the first one to see a new article, the first one to discover a new technology, the first one to read a really nerdy article in a nerdy magazine. These things have status on the social web. And friends love catching up with whatever their friends are liking and finding. So you have this push and pull between bragging and stalking that basically is the lifeblood of Facebook and social media in general. And the like button and the open graph is just enabling this to take place at an even bigger stage. And consumers don't mind because they like bragging and they like stalking.
Can you give a few examples of how you could see a marketer developing a campaign to take advantage of the kind of open social graph? Okay,
so we actually have clients that are doing a lot of these retargeting today. So we're working with a large retailer currently who has put a like button on all their top selling products. So the first step was just to have the like button there and then let people like it. And liking something has an immediate effect that your Facebook friends are notified that you found something of interest somewhere. So you get the immediate viral effect that for some retailers and publishers have driven traffic from Facebook up almost 200% compared to before the like button.
So it's almost a combination of word of mouth marketing and earned media.
Exactly, exactly. But after that initial viral, effect you get by liking something and your friends seeing it, we have then gone back in and we have used the Facebook APIs to retarget, meaning we are now sending messages to people who have liked any particular page or product, in this case, through Facebook. So Facebook allows us to send messages to the walls of the friends of our pages. So a retailer might have 500 products that they have called top sellers that they have like buttons on. We can now go in and single out anybody who likes any of those 500 products and send them a message uniquely through Facebook, and then send another message to somebody else who liked another product.
Just quickly, where would the message appear? Would it appear like in their messages inbox or on their status page, or
this would
where does the consumer see it?
So when we are using the Facebook API to retarget people who liked any of our pages or products, those messages show up in their newsfeed. So just like you would see an update from a friend who uploaded a photo, or another Facebook page that has some update or promotion, we can now send a promotion or message of any kind into the newsfeed, and the voice of that message
from people that you like.
So the message
from products that you like.
Yeah. So when we put like buttons on, let's say 500 products, each one of those products have a voice. So let's say it's the iPhone has a different voice than diapers. And this is clear to users because users who like the iPhone, when they understand that when they get a message from the iPhone, it is because they like that phone. So it might say the iPhone says, check out this new tutorial. And then any other product would have its own voice and it would speak in its own voice. So instead of having one Facebook page to represent an entire brand, a company now can give a voice to each product. So let's just say that you are a jeans retailer and and you have sale going on skinny jeans for women. Okay? In the old...
Or skinny jeans for men, which is the New York fashion right now.
Let's say skinny jeans for men. You want to send this update to all your Facebook friends. Drive them to your site to shop. So option one in the old world, put a message out to your Facebook friends of your brand on your Facebook page. So let's say you got 1 million fans of this company, and you will see that it will fail miserably. Sending out a message that you got skinny jeans for men on sale is spamming, because 98% of your audience is probably not men or skinny, or both in this case, right? However, if you have a like button on every product in your product catalog, you can single out the products that would qualify as skinny jeans for men and send a message straight to the people who have liked those products. So you don't have to send a message to the entire universe of friends of your one Facebook page. You can single out those individual products and send a message that's relevant to the audience or the friends of those products. So you're not really spamming them. So each product gets a voice, and that voice can speak to its friends through the Facebook wall. So a like button on a web page doesn't have a traditional Facebook page with a wall and the discussions, but it can still talk to its friends. And when people engage with that message and click on it, they're taken back to the web page, which is really the Facebook page, so to speak, now for that. When a brand uses the Facebook API to send a message to their friends of their website objects, their website like buttons, that message shows up in the newsfeed wall. And when people engage with it and click on it, they're taken back to the website of the retailer or the publisher, etc. So the voice, let's say the skinny jeans for men, they have a voice now, but they don't have a Facebook page. So they can still talk to its friends through the Facebook wall or through the newsfeed, but any engagement drives back to that website, which is actually what most publishers and retailers want. They want the traffic to go back to their websites because that's where they can convert. Facebook is pretty much a straitjacket functionality-wise and design-wise for brands. It's not much you can do on a Facebook page. So now that you can put a like button on your web pages, on every page individually, break out a different audience, is a lot better for companies because they can design their own web pages in any way they want. And this is really where they want the traffic to go. And in most cases, it's actually where the traffic already is. So instead of companies now being told, great, you spent millions of dollars building your website, now you need to spend millions of dollars marketing your Facebook page, they can now actually put all their money back in their website because they can cater to Facebook users there, as well as they can leverage Facebook to drive traffic back to that page, because that becomes the centerpiece, basically, of your Facebook strategy now, because you can bring Facebook into your site in a way that you could not do before the like buttons became available.
Do you think leveraging Facebook in this way will provide an alternative to a service like Groupon, where if a retailer or a product company wants to get rid of something and just do a deep discount, get a whole lot of people to buy it, get it out of inventory, that they could use this? Because I think one of the knocks on Groupon is that they're building their Rolodex of people, but you don't necessarily, I mean, you can clear out inventory by doing one deal with them, but in this way you almost have a direct relationship with people.
Well, the whole Groupon thing and their clones is a very hot thing right now because they do what retailers need, which is drive traffic to their destinations, and it does what consumers want, which is coupons and deals, right? Perfect marriage. I think the Open Graph now opens up an opportunity for retailers to kind of do their own Groupon deals, because now that you can have tens of thousands of SKUs or products in your product catalog, and visitors to any of those products can like them. So now you may know down at the SKU level what people's preferences are and who's connected to that SKU. So if you overnight suddenly have a sale on 500 products in your catalog, we can automatically just detect, okay, price drop, let's communicate back to Facebook that there's a price drop on these 500 items, and send that message to the people that like any of those 500 items. So you can get really granular with your messaging and your promotions. So while someone like Groupon is focused more on maybe a category of things you like electronics or you like this brand, the brands or the retailers themselves can now have granular data knowing you like exactly these 3 products. So I'm going to tell you about those 3 products only whenever there's a sale on those. So you don't feel spammed and you feel that I'm treating you with respect because I'm only showing you things I know is relevant to you.
We spent the whole time talking about Facebook. Is there any relevance to an open social graph outside of Facebook? So, meaning not relying on Facebook and its registered users.
So there has been a lot of initiatives out there over the years trying to create an open standard for connecting people and pages together in a more intelligent way. And it has failed because there's been no financial incentive to change the way the web is structured. The only ones, unfortunately, who are making any headway in tying pages and people together in a smarter way are the big search engines and Facebook. It takes money to make it happen, but more than anything else, if you want to connect content and people, you need to start with the people. The content is out there, but if you don't have the people, you don't have the most important ingredients to make the match. Right now, Facebook is right in the intersection between great content and a lot of people. And it's going to be very hard for somebody else to come and just change that. Maybe in 5 years, there will be a completely different market. But right now, Facebook seems to be winning at least the first part of the war for the consumers' hearts and minds and their friends.